All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to continue day number 16 of Donald Trump's Hush Money trial, where we have liar, pants on fire, Michael Cohen continuing his testimony, and he is being questioned by Susan Hoffinger of Alvin Bragg's DA's office. On the last video, we were just getting to the good part when the court took a break. But of course, we get to hear all of this thanks to our guy on the inside, Inner City Press, who is reporting from inside the courtroom and giving us a look at everything that is going on, what the judge is saying, what the prosecution is saying, and of course, what Trump's defense is saying. But without any further ado, let's go into the courtroom where we have Susan Hoffinger right up here on the screen. She is the woman on Alvin Bragg's DA's office on the left. And then, of course, we have liar, pants on fire, Michael Cohen on the right. And his pants are on fire. You can see it. His pants are on fire. But they have come back from break. And Judge Merchan is taking care of some housekeeping first. And he says, I usually tell the jury the tape is the evidence. The transcript is not the evidence. And Trump's lawyer, Blanche, he says, we'd like that. Now that would make sense. And Merchan says, all right, let's bring the witness back and then the jury. We have the jury entering. And Judge Merchan says the tape is the evidence. The transcript is only an aid. And the prosecutor says, all right, Mr. Cohen, coming back from last time, the recording cut off, this recording that we played for you. And whose voice was that in the recording? Cohen says, it was my voice. I received an incoming phone call. Prosecutor says, but your recording stopped. Why did you take it? Cohen said, I had enough. And have you reviewed this AT&T record showing an incoming call to the phone number ending in 0114 when the recording cut off? Cohen says, yes. Prosecutor says, was it from Capital One Bank? Cohen says, yes, it was. And was there a longer conversation after? Cohen says, yes. I mean, no. Prosecutor says, did you ever alter this recording? Cohen says, no, I did not. Prosecution says, what did Alan Weisselberg say? Cohen says that paying with a check from a Trump entity would defeat the purpose of keeping it separate. The prosecution says, all right, what is this? And she points to an exhibit. Cohen says, that is a signal text from Dan Rothstein. And what company did you set up, Mr. Cohen? Resolution Associates, LLC. And did you ever intend to yourself buy the McDougal life rights, Mr. Cohen? No, I was doing it for the benefit of Mr. Trump. And did Resolution pay? Cohen says no. Well, why? Because the cover of Men's Health with Karen McDougal on it made more money than they thought. So they did not need the money from us. He said, rip up the assignment of the rights contract. Susan Hoffinger says, well, what did Mr. Trump say? Cohen said, he said, great. And where were you when the Access Hollywood tape was released? Cohen says, I was in London for my daughter's 21st birthday, and it was also my anniversary. Well, did Steve Bannon email you? Yes, and he also emailed Jason Miller. But Cohen continues, he says, I told Chris Cuomo I had requests to do media when I got back from London. He told me that that would be too late. He was dying to do it right now. Prosecution says, well, who is he in this conversation? Donald Trump, says Cohen. And what's this? Susan gestures towards another exhibit. Cohen says, it's an email from the old Radar story, Playboy Man. And what did you do? Cohen says, I got Dylan Howard to have it taken down. AMI is now owned by Radar. I told Mr. Trump so he would give me credit. And did you have a conversation with Mr. Trump about Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen? Yes, I did. I relayed what Dylan Howard said. And I told him we need to take care of this. And he said, absolutely, do it. Well, what did he tell you about 2006? He told me that he was playing golf with Big Ben and met Stormy, that she liked Mr. Trump over Big Ben. And did you ask if they had sex? Cohen said, oh yeah, I sure did. The prosecution says, and did he answer directly? No, he did not. Well, what did he say? He said that she was beautiful. And did you speak to Life and Style and In Touch magazine? Yes. The In Touch article did not come out. I spoke to Mr. Trump and credited Keith Davidson. Now the prosecution says, all right, Mr. Cohen, jumping forward to 2016, had you heard any more news about Stormy Daniels? Cohen says, no, nothing at all. And did you learn if anyone was representing Stormy Daniels? Yes, I did. It was Keith Davidson. Prosecution says, okay, let's look at these texts. Cohen says, I said we'd use resolution trust. Here, Dylan Howard wrote to me and Keith connecting us about the business opportunity. And what business opportunity is this? Cohen, the acquisition of the life rights to the story of Stormy Daniels. Mr. Trump was very angry. He said he thought he had it done. Prosecution asks, well, what did Mr. Trump say about the Stormy Daniels story? Well, he said, men might think it's cool, but women are going to hate me. He told me, get control over it, Michael. And did you two discuss strategy? Cohen says, yes. He told me to work with David Pecker. Mr. Trump told me push it out past the election. If I win, it's not a problem. And if I lose, I don't care. I asked how things would do with Melania. He said, don't worry. How long do you think I'd be on the market for? Not long. This was all about the campaign. And what's this, Mr. Cohen? Gestures to another exhibit. Michael Cohen says about the side letter agreement. Also, they list who else had been told about the story. My instructions were just to push it past the election. And what was Keith Davidson complaining about? Cohen says, I told him I needed 10 days. Bertrand says, all right, we're going to break through lunch. And so we are going to fast forward where they are coming back from lunch. And Judge Bertrand says, all right, let's get the witness. And Trump is talking animatedly to Todd Blanche, who is still in lead counsel's chair at the defense table. Cohen comes back on the stand. Judge Bertrand says, get the jury, please. The jury enters. Prosecutor Susan Hoffinger continues her questioning of Michael Cohen. And she says, all right, Michael, so what was your reply to Keith Davidson here? And she gestures towards the exhibit. Michael Cohen says, I told him the office was closed for Yom Kippur. I was trying to delay until after the election when it wouldn't matter anymore. And what was Mr. Trump doing? Well, he was campaigning on his private plane. Well, and then what? What happened next? Cohen says, I emailed Gary Farrow at First Republic Bank. I sent him the corporate documents for Resolution Consultants, LLC. Well, why did you do that? Cohen says, in the event of a need for an account to transfer funds. And what did you say Resolution Consultants was for? I said business consulting on marketing. All of his clients are in the U.S. And the NAICS code? What about this? Cohen says, management consulting, including HR and marketing. Prosecutor says, Mr. Cohen, was that truthful? Cohen says, no, it was not. And why did you change the name? Cohen says, Resolution Consulting was the name of the company of a friend of mine, out of state, so I switched to Essential Consulting, LLC. And how about this email? What is this about? She gestures to another exhibit. Cohen says, Keith Davidson wrote to say, if no funds today, the settlement contract is over. Then he wrote, my client considers it void ab initio. We were losing control. Dylan Howard told me Stormy Daniels was going to go to the Daily Mail with the story. Then Dylan Howard told me that Keith Davidson had stopped taking his calls. Well, did you call Mr. Trump? Cohen says, I did. I called him to tell him that due to my failure to wire the funds, she was going to the Daily Mail. The prosecutor says, but the call was only 8 seconds. Cohen says, I received a voicemail. Sorry, I left a voicemail. Then I canceled Resolution LLC and set up Essential Consultants LLC. Well, what happened next? Cohen says, Melania texted me to call DT, and I did. Well, did you go on CNN's Wolf Blitzer? Cohen says, yes, I did. I issued denial and exclamations that I'd never seen him in that matter. I had talking points from the campaign. The Daily Mail was in play. Prosecutor says, and then what happened? Cohen says, Mr. Trump told me smart individuals told him pay $130,000. He told me to go talk with Alan Weiselberg, so I did. And Alan asked, why can't AMI pay for it? Well, they just won it. Why not use one of the golf courses? But they're Trump's golf courses. The prosecutor asks, did you ask Mr. Weiselberg if he'd pay? Objection from Todd Blanche. Overruled, says Merchan. Cohen answers, he said he had 4 grandchildren in prep school and summer camps. So I did it. Mr. Trump told me, don't worry, you will get it back. And are these calls you made with Mr. Weiselberg? Cohen says, yes. It had to do with Stormy Daniels. There was significant urgency. At First Republic, I had an HELOC on my apartment. I figured I'd use that instead of our bank account. My wife would have asked. Prosecutor asks, did you have a call with Dylan Howard and David Pecker? Cohen says, yes, I did. I asked Mr. Pecker if he'd do it. He said not a chance, and that he hadn't even been repaid the $150,000 from the Karen McDougal story. I even thought I could lose my job, so I just did it. And the prosecution gestures to another exhibit, and she says, do you recognize this, quote, know your customer form? Cohen says, yes, I do. It says Essential Consultants is a real estate related company. And was this true or false? Cohen says, this was false. And what's this? Cohen says, I forwarded First Republic's transfer to Keith. And how about this? And she brings up another exhibit. Cohen says, Dylan Howard laid out the terms of the deal. Payment by Thursday. This is the wire transfer authorization. And what was the stated purpose of this transfer? Cohen says, it says retained, and that was not truthful. It was not a retainer. It was for life rights to the story. Damages of $1 million per violation. Prosecutor says, well, did you tell Mr. Trump? Cohen says, yes, I did. I wanted to take credit. It was important. And did Mr. Trump sign this agreement anywhere? Cohen said, no, he did not sign it anywhere. It was me that signed the agreement. And Mr. Cohen, who is ID'd as David Dennison in the side letter? Cohen says, David Dennison is Donald Trump. And on November the 4th of 2016, did the Wall Street Journal publish about AMI paying off Karen McDougal with a mention of Stormy Daniels? Yes. I discussed this with Hope Hicks. I said to blame Clinton. And did you express anger to Keith Davidson? I did. I told him Mr. Trump would be very upset with him. Objection, says Blanche. Sustained, says Judge Merchan. And did you speak with Dylan Howard? I did. And did Keith Schiller text you to ask if you could speak in 30 minutes? Yes. I spoke with Mr. Trump for 5 minutes and 55 seconds, and he was angry. Merchan says, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to fast forward through this. They're back. The prosecutor continues the questioning. And she says, Mr. Cohen, what are these November 5th, 2016 texts? Cohen says, I told Hope Hicks I only see 6 stories. Getting little to no traction, and she replied, keep praying. And did Mr. Trump win the election? Yes, he did. And were you offered the role of Assistant General Counsel, Mr. Cohen? Yes, I was. But you were not offered Chief of Staff, were you? No, I was not. And it bothered me I wasn't considered. So I pitched for personal attorney to the president because it would open doors. Cohen looks at the jury. He says, companies wanted to understand President Trump, and they would pay me for that. And did you tell this to your family? Yes, I did. What are these, Mr. Cohen? Susan Hoffinger gestures towards an exhibit with text messages. Cohen says, these are text messages with my daughter. The prosecutor says, People's Exhibit 258. What are these, Mr. Cohen? Cohen says, my daughter was at UPenn. I told her the opportunity would be hybrid. I could monetize my access. And did you get the position? Cohen says, yes, I did. Did you usually get bonuses in December? Yes. Rana gave it to me. I was angry. He cut my bonus by 2/3 and still hadn't repaid me the $130,000. It was insulting. I used expletives to Mr. Weisselberg. I was, even for myself, unusually angry. He said, take it easy. I told David Pecker as well. And did Mr. Trump call you? Yes, he did. And did you then meet with Mr. Weisselberg about the repayment of the $130,000? Yes. I showed him the First Republic bank documents and wrote on it, plus $50,000 paid to Red Finch for tech services on another matter. Mr. Weisselberg said he would gross it up since I'd be taking it as income. And did he pay Red Finch? No, I paid them. I know the CEO of Red Finch. He said he bought the IP addresses. I needed him for other things I was working on. There was also $60,000 for an additional bonus, so it was $420,000 in total. We went to Mr. Trump's office. There, Mr. Weisselberg said, we'll pay you monthly, kind of like a legal payment. Since I'd be special attorney to Donald Trump, the payments would start in February. And did Mr. Trump approve these payments? Yes. He said it's going to be a wild ride in D.C. And did Mr. Trump give you the job in that meeting, or was it around then? Cohen says, one or the other, I wrote to Gene Friedman, I will be personal counsel to President Trump. And did you announce your new position on Hannity on January the 18th? Yes, I did. Mr. Weisselberg said I should send a monthly invoice for legal services. I did not prepare a retainer agreement because I knew there would be no compensation. Prosecutor says, all right, let's break. Judge Bertrand says, okay. And that's what we have for today, guys, to end out the day of Michael Cohen testifying in this hush money trial. But he will most likely have many more questions to answer tomorrow. And this is the convicted perjurer, Michael Cohen, the star witness for the prosecution. What do you guys think about this? Do you trust Michael Cohen's answers in this trial? Do you think he is telling the truth? What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments what you think. But like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Come back tomorrow for the rest of this. But until then, I will see you until the next one.